You guys are up to, I think, 11th in defensive efficiency. Are you guys ahead of maybe where you thought you'd be at this point?
Nah. You always have hopes. So try to live day to day, Johnny Rambo style. So day by day. If you can stay healthy, you can get better. I think getting Will and Mac back, we've been able to get healthy so we could practice. You got to be able to practice to get better defensively. Then I think, getting beat helps you. If coaches as well, you got to look in the mirror, figure some things out. That's why playing some of the games we've played is good for you, because you got to find out the truth. Sometimes, you get in practice. Everybody loves their team in October. Everybody's excited. New year, fresh this, fresh that, and then the games start. So then you find out the truth. But you don't find out the truth unless you play some tough games, which we have. So, and even our home games, bye games, everybody's come in here pretty much with a winning record, picked to win their league, NCAA tournament team the year before, stuff like that. Davis is no different. I think they're 7-4.
Looking at the way Dem played this week, I know there was foul trouble in the Kentucky game, but did you see him make strides?
He gets better every day. I think statistics are misleading because the game, the player can't control game flow in basketball. So, you got foul trouble, things of that nature. Games take on a life of their own. So opportunities to maybe put up numbers aren't always there. Dem's definitely gotten better. I think he's definitely gotten more comfortable. We actually had a plan to try to go to him early to try to get Oscar in foul trouble, which went out the window when he got in foul trouble. So, but he's, he's going to have he's got some good offensive games in him, like the one he had where he was 7 for 8 or whatever that game. Was that the Maryland game?
Yeah.
He's got some of that in him.
Would you like to see his rebounding numbers be a little higher, though, Coach?
Yeah, but it's all rebound per minute played.
Okay.
It's hard to rebound sitting on the bench.
Right.
You can't rebound in foul trouble. It's so tough to get one sitting over there. But sure, I tell all our big guys, rebounding is the one stat the NBA really cares about. Really cares about. So it translates. You got to look at the history of draft picks. Some of the guys are. Some of the old school guys that taught me a lot of stuff when I was young, and I was fortunate to be around. They taught me about that were in the NBA, and they taught you about rebound per minute play. If you get one for every 3 minutes, you're probably a pro.
Is he around? Is he
No.
clipping that? Okay.
No.
Getting there?
Got work to do.
Okay.
Mac seems like he's rebounding pretty well from that position.
Yeah, Mac had a great game. We gave we don't do like football game ball stuff, but made sure we acknowledged him in the locker room. The kids were all happy for him. When you're on a team, and these guys, I think losing, you got to go through things. Besides me being hard on you in practice to become a team, you got to go through things together, traveling together, winning together, losing together. I think that's the most important thing for us. They have become closer, but these guys all watch Mac and Will go through rehab. While they're practicing, playing. Those guys last winter are coming out of a tough surgery, dealing with a lot. So the players, they were really, really happy for Mac. Really happy. It's just a tough deal. Then he has a cast on his thumb all summer, for 8 weeks. So it was fun to see those guys be so happy for him. But, I think, again, you got 6 freshmen, on scholarship. They're the key to our future. They're the key. I keep telling them they're the key to the season. They're the key to the season because I think for us to really rock and roll, those guys got to be able to play in big games.
With Mac, is there any kind of conditioning limitations still?
No.
Is he still working back into shape at all?
No limitations. I know that he and Will hate that brace, but it's just protective. I think our medical staff likes to have them play in it for a certain period of time when they come back from an ACL. Tiger did the same thing, but I know they hate it.
We got to speak to Braumos a couple weeks ago. from your standpoint, maybe some of the largest learning curves you've kind of witnessed, whether it be on or off the court for him?
Physicality, and Braumos, he is hard on himself. He wants to do well, so he's overtly hard on himself. So he's got to relax. So it compounds mistakes. So getting him to slow down and take his time is the biggest thing he's got to do. He's been great off the floor. I mean, the international kids are so much more mature, the life they've had to lead, versus today's, American kid that's been driven to every game, has never taken public transportation, and has his Gatorade delivered to him from his mom on the bench. A little bit different, where Kenny, Abramo, Adem, and guys like that, their world's totally different. Totally different. And they leave home early to chase their dreams, and they're at academies. And it's just a completely different world.
When you bring up something like that, Coach, do you find yourself having to maybe coach players differently than you did 15 years ago?
Not really, no. Plus, it's hard for me to even think that this is my 20th year. No. I think it's our job. Number one job, we're the last line of defense before these guys go to the real world. We actually had that talk yesterday. College is about showing that you can be responsible and get a degree. 80% of people don't work in the field they get a degree in. You got to show you can handling your business. Handling showing up. So, like in our case, long trip, get home in the middle of the night, off Sunday. You got to be able to come in Monday and be ready. So you got to be ready. And today's kids, they think, I was here and I tried. When in the real world, you got to be productive, or they're going to fire you and hire somebody else. So we have a lot of talks like that. So no, I think it's our job to tell them the truth about what's coming. We're the last line. When they're out of here, it's all the truth hits them.
I was just going to ask you, what generally prompts you to have that conversation with them?
I think they need it. Well, just like I told you, we just got back.
Okay.
You got to be able to show up at practice and be ready. I take, I think coaching is a badge of honor. My dad was a coach. The most important thing that we do is try to help these guys get ready for life after college basketball. Because even if you play professionally, you got to be a professional. It's not easy. Biggest myth in basketball is, the NBA is great. These guys have no idea how hard that is. Some of them couldn't survive a week. 4 games, 4 cities. Against professionals, you got to show up every day. They couldn't survive a week. So it's our job to get them ready for that. Get them ready for the real world. That's what we're here for. I mean, that's the most rewarding part of our job. The wins are great. You got to win to be able to keep your job.
Looked like you were even running some mid-range stuff for David in this last game, off curls and stuff. Is he playing with
yeah.
I don't know, the most confidence?
And in fact, one of my notes of our road trip is I've got to do a better job. When Dave's in there, we got to find a way to get him more shots. He's shooting at such a high level. Now our opponents know it. Kentucky is a tight defensive team, so they were just not going to leave him at any cost. So it was, he was going to have to get his shots off the break or a loose ball. But we've just got to get a couple of my notes. Like, we got to get Jalen Clark some more opportunities in our half-court offense. We got to get Dave some more shots. And I'd like to, have our, like I talked about with Adem, being able to, and him and Kenny and Mac, be able to pound it into them a little bit more. Those are, we can't just be, Jaime and Tiger and pray for rain.
Yeah. With Dave, I know
it's a baseball reference.
With Dave, I know at the beginning of your time here, especially, his shot selection was maybe even a little conservative in terms of passing up shots and that sort of thing.
A little bit.
Has it been a work for him to kind of get a little bit more aggressive? With
I'm a big believer in guys make shots if their feet are set. Your feet got to beat the ball. You know, if you're trying to get set after you catch it, I don't care who you are, you're going to shoot a low percentage. Like if you watch those guys like in Golden State and some of those great shooters, whether it's Lillard or Curry, these guys, if their feet are set and they can shoot their ball in time and rhythm, the contest doesn't bother them. What bothers shooters is when you're trying to gather yourself and shoot it, and your shot preparation isn't there. So, you know, like you look at Reggie Miller back in the day to talk about a UCLA guy. You know, if he could get his shot in rhythm, the contest didn't matter. It was all about, but if he could get his footwork in rhythm, catch clean, footwork clean, the contest was irrelevant for him. So that's what we work on with Dave and with all our guys. Footwork, shot preparation. Very underrated thing. You know, our guy, you know, today's kids get too many guys teaching them how to dribble, you know, pass it off the wall, get it back, throw it off the ceiling, one hand around the back through 3 cones.
Not exactly practical, is it?
We might want to learn how to shoot.
Coach, you had mentioned that he has no physical limitations
No.
currently. So he played limited minutes against Kentucky, but he played pretty well.
Yeah. I think I was at 5 or 6 rebounds, I think
Yeah.
something like that, 5.
Is that limited time just like finding his place on rotation, or is it just about the fit about that particular game? Or
Oh, you're talking about his playing time in general?
yeah,
You know, it's obviously he's. I'd like to be able to play big at times. You know, to get if he could get to a point where when Jaime comes out, he could play with Kenny or end it down, to where he can play 4 and 5. There's some games we may need to play bigger. It'd be nice to have an option to do that at times. So he's working back into that. That's going to require more mobility. So, like when I say he has no physical limitations, that doesn't mean he's back to a, you know, pre-ACL in his comfort zone. But he's, you know, we don't play guys if they're not, you know, totally clear. We actually are way on the conservative side of bringing them back, which I'm all for. But anyway, I'd like to be able to get him some work, to answer your question, at backing up Jaime some as well.
and what do you hope to get out of this game?
A win.
Go,
A win. That's it. I don't want to go Nick Saban on you, but UC Davis practices. They got scholarships. And I'm really impressed with how hard they play. They they play really hard on defense. And they push the ball. They're fun to watch. I'm going to be like they run, man. Like they run. They got guy averaging almost 20 a game. They got good guard play. They got a solid team. So, you know, teams that play fast and let it fly on offense, they scare coaches because you're going to be the one day everything goes in.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, just the way, you know, we worry about trying to get a win. I think, you know, I'd like to be able to win and continue to grow to really what you're getting at, I think, you know, which, but I think that you start saying, well, you know, hey, we'd like to get this guy minutes and that guy minutes. It's like, you know, you got to earn minutes. You got to earn minutes. So, and I just worry about getting a win because, like I said, Coach Left's been around, they practice. Just glad I don't have to play him a game of horse. I could shoot a little bit, but not like him.
how do you go about keeping the energy up after 2 like big?
I agree with that. That's why we had that little talk I referred to about, you know, in the real world, you can't. You got to show up every day. You know, now I know millennials. Now you have a couple good sales. You're probably going to the boss and asked to go on vacation, but we can't. We're not there yet. You considering yourself a millennial, Tart?
I don't know what I am.
Oh yeah, either do
89.
I have no idea what I am either. Just so
Yeah,
you know.
I think I technically am.
Some days I know I've lost my mind. But, yeah, you might be.
I think I technically am.
You ask for vacation a lot.
No, sir. Haven't taken one. No.
Yeah, you got to be. You know, to your point, you got to be a professional. You got to come in. You got to handle your business. You know, I always tease those guys. You know, I'm the only guy in the room with the job he wants. My assistants want my job. The players want to be professionals. So I constantly ask them why I'm the hardest working guy in the room that brings the most energy every day when I'm the guy with the job. I'm the only guy in the room with the job he actually wants. You guys are all trying to get a better job, so you should all work harder than me. So we have a lot of funny ways of, you know, talking about it, but it's human nature, so I am concerned about it. That's why we discussed it yesterday.
What about the team has surprised you most up until this point?
I don't know if it surprised me, but I think the key to where we're at is the way we responded to the losses in Vegas, and the guys have come together as a team. You know, when you have 6 new guys in the locker room, because Will and Mac were here last year, so you got 6 new guys in the locker room, albeit 2 are non-scholarship, Jack and Evan, but you still have 6 new guys in the locker room. And our locker room dynamic drastically changed when you lose the talent that we lost. You know, Miles, Cody, Peyton, Johnny, Jules. It's a lot of changeover. So I think I didn't know how long it was going to take us to develop some cohesiveness, some chemistry. Now, again, not amongst me. It's stuff like you can't force that. You know, you can try to force it all you want. It's got to be real. But we got such good guys on the team, and our freshmen are such good guys. I think that's why they've come together pretty quickly. The question is, can we stay that way? You know, because on that trip, we were worried about one thing: trying to get a win at Maryland. Then we were trying to get a win at Kentucky. It's the easiest thing to detect for veteran coaches when your team is focused, totally locked in, and we were totally locked in with respect for our opponent and what we needed to accomplish. We had that magic. We captured that magic. We went to a Final Four, and I really thought we were going to win the title. It took a wild shot to beat us, even though we weren't the most talented team. When you can we captured that magic last week, can we bottle it? That's the question.